Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing? Let me just get things set up properly here. I hope y'all are doing well. Things are pretty good. I had a nice time with my mom last night. She wanted to watch an episode of South Park. Or more so, a little special of it. And I showed that to her. But yeah, things weren't too bad there, and it was just mostly relaxing. But let me get things shared out. In the meantime, let's get you guys a question of the day so you have something to do. Any planet, huh? That's a good question there. Let's see, my answer... I think I'd want to check out Kepler 22b. Like, it's dangerous traveling to other planets, yeah. But Kepler 22b is quite a mystery. Because supposedly it's our nearest planet that could support life, but there's just too much that we don't know about it. Like what's really there and such. So it'd be nice to see what it's like and if the water really is drinkable and that. But that's about all that I can think of. Like, a lot of the other planets are a bit scary. Like, I think it was Jupiter or Saturn that would, like, crush you before you get to the center, but at the same time has the creepiness of its magnetic field making sounds like that would be associated with being around a beach. So it's like this planet gives off a nice and relaxing feel, and yet it's a scary planet. And then you've got other planets too, like Venus, which we would easily die on, and Mars, supposedly we can terraform it. They're more likely to be able to terraform it than Venus, but still pretty much die since you've got carbon dioxide a lot in there. But then again, when you think about it, carbon dioxide does contain oxygen. So it's a bit iffy about what can be done there. Let's see. Okay, nothing there. And I guess another thing that I'm kind of interested in is we'll be getting Free Ren Part 2 sometime this week. It was initially planned for it to come out this week, and then the publisher was like, we're gonna push it to December, and then they changed their mind, which is a bit aggravating. Like, yes, it's nice that I get it early, but I'm like, why? Why go through all this? Oh well. Check that out later. Alright. So one more. Oh, I should probably check over here. Definitely don't want that. And I got that all dealt with. Alright. I'm gonna get a drink. And then I will get the game set up and we can get started. In the meantime, if you guys haven't had the chance to answer today's question of the day, feel free to do so, and I will also be checking that when I get back. And if you don't see it, the command in the title of the stream that is present while I'm live should bring it up for you. And with that, I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let me check on you guys. Alright. Nothing here. So I'll switch inputs and then get things started. Better also do this. There we go. Alright, here we are. Last time, we had a knife-wielding woman come after the group, so let's see if I can make it through here. So I'm interested in finding out what's happening next, but I hope you all are doing well. Alright, let's see. Doesn't matter too much. Okay, and aimed her poison weapon at the nearest target, Kiyonosuke-san. Okay. Let us try tackling her. Because these two make the most sense, but this one's going to be the quickest, typically in this situation. I don't know why I moved when I did. I was a man of words, not of impulse. In times of crisis, I was the type to turn tail and run after making some sort of parting threat. I shouldn't have been on good enough terms with either Kinosuke or Kaori-san to risk my life for them. Yet when I came to my senses, my body was dancing, charging straight for Kaori-san with my right shoulder. And after a brief struggle, we collapsed. I heard her let out a strained cackle in my ears. I had to change my posture. Unless I pinned her knife hand down, But in the end, it turned out I really wasn't cut out for the job. These roundabout thoughts were just delaying the inevitable. When the madly laughing woman embraced me, my thought had ground to a complete halt. She'd stabbed me right in the back, simple as that. To her, I was just another obstacle that had to be removed. I didn't know if the wound itself was fatal, but I could tell that the blade had sunk in incredibly deep. And that it was coated in leaf green poison. It must have been a near instant death. My mind quickly grew hazy, yet my final moments were those of self-reflection. Reckless actions really aren't my forte, after all. Bad Ending 5. Watch the hint corner? Yes, we shall.
やっちまったな、大将。
Hey, you've done it now, eh, Chief?
こいつはいただけね。早速ヒントをくれてやるぜ。
This was a real bust. I'll give you the hint right away.
今回のバッドエンドも題してど素人の無謀な攻撃が呼んだ当然の結末で毒死についてだが
Bad Ending 5. A poison death for a reckless
最初
amateur.
春秋のやつは別に武道家でも何でもねただの素人だ
Look, Karuaki Fusaishi isn't some kind of martial arts shonen protagonist,
そ
okay?
もそも武術かじった人間なら武器持ったやつからはまず逃げるっつうぜ武器の怖さをよく知ってるからだ
Besides, even if he did dabble in it a bit, his first instinct would be to run away from someone armed. He'd be fully aware of how scary a weapon can be.
都市格闘もののアニメや漫画じゃ軽視されがちだが、現実では武器ってのは素手の何十倍も有利かつ危険なんだ。
A lot of martial arts anime and manga tend to treat them lightly, but in reality, weapons are far more dangerous than your fists. Yeah, but they've got a point here.
その場のノリで突っ込めば相応の報いを受ける。まして今回は相手が即死クラスの毒まで併用してるときた。
If you charge it in based on that logic, then you deserved to die. Hell, the killer this time even had instantly lethal poison on their side.
どう考えても逃げるが最上。ただ、それがままならねえなら、せめて相手よりリーチの長い武器を探しな。
So running away is your best bet in this case. However, if that's not an option, at least find a weapon with longer reach than the would-be
そう
killer.
いうわけで、当然の結末。同じ場所、3、読みの、9、毒殺を止めよ。で、もう一方の選択肢を選ぶこと。
So yeah, don't bring a fist to a knife fight. Go back to 3 Yomi EQ, stop poisoning and pick the other option. Yeah, it makes sense not to bring a fist to a knife fight, but they say a wound from a knife feels like a punch anyway. At least when it goes right into you.
よし、今回はここまで。次も元気に死んでこい。
Okay, that's enough for this time. Die a bloodier death next time. Alright, so the key's probably in the other one, huh? Do better next time, huh? Alright. It's interesting that they automatically go back to the beginning. So let's do this. Alright, so that's where it starts up there. So we gotta start there. Okay, so... Alright. So this is it. Right here. Okay, she was hardly moving quickly, but the sight of the blade had stunted our reflexes. I'd seen some bizarre corpses here. I bore witness to what pure malice could do, but still living blatant to malevolence killing intent was intense enough to paralyze everyone present. I barely registered the scene unfolding before me. Staggering a bit, the woman passed the counter. The sharp knife was still green with something, likely shavings of aconite. She raised her voice and aimed her poisoned weapon at the nearest target, Kinosuke-san. Alright. So let's do this one. Hopefully it gets us further by some means. I had no idea why my body began to move. I grabbed the nearest chair without even thinking about it. It was old, wooden, and heavy. Picking it up made me lose my balance for a bit. I pointed its legs at the would-be murderer and dashed forward as fast as I could. A crash, a cry of pain, a scream. Amidst the cacophony, I attempted to keep Kaori-san pinned down. I pressed the edge of the chair against her knife arm. She cried out in pain and the blade clattered to the floor. Jamie then quickly kicked it away. In hindsight, it all happened in a mere matter of seconds. In fact, tying her up was way harder with her foaming at the mouth and struggling. In the end, we bound her limbs and gagged her to silence her bloodthirsty screams. With that done, we had no choice but to face reality.
僕がこれを切り出すのはどうかと思うけど、どうするんです？これは。
Let's see. I know I'm probably not the best person to ask, but what do you even do about this? 6 of us stood in the mists right outside the dining hall. Kaori-san was locked inside.
織部さんも読み人になってしもうた。
She's also become a Yomibito.
違う、そんなわけない。母さんはちょっとおかしくなってるだけだ。
No, that can't be. She's just not feeling
香織
well.
さん、やっぱり無理してたんだね。
I guess she really was pushing herself. Was really pushing herself.
母さんが義継をどれだけ大事にしてたか。
Of course she was. Do you have any idea how important Yoshisugu was to her?
あいつはバカだし、喧嘩っ早くて手がかかるやつだったけど。
He was foolish, short-tempered, and annoying, but
だからこそ母さんはあいつを一番大事にしてた。
no, that's exactly why she treasured him so
父親
much.
に似て無謀だって母さんは何度も言ってたから。
She often said that he was as reckless as his father.
母は僕が責任を持って落ち着ける。みんなどうか今日のことは許して。
Oh, I'll take responsibility and calm her down myself. Please forgive her for that.
宴で決めるべきだ。
We should decide at the feast.
これは宴とは関係ない個人の暴走です。分けて考えるべきだ。
Please wait. This is a personal outburst that has nothing to do with the feast. Keep her out of it.
どうしてそう言える？ご婦人は確かに汚れによって狂気を得たのかもしれん。
How can you be so certain she might have succumbed to the corruption?
野里さん、
Misato-san.
霧の中のことは宴で決めるべきだ。でないと汚れるかもしれん。
Everything in the mists has to be decided at the feast. Breaking that law risks falling victim to the corruption.
そうですな。
That's true.
わかりました。行きましょう。
Very well, let's go.
ダメだ。このままだと香織さんが殺されるぞ。
No, Asunaga-kun should be
す
killed.
みませんよ。僕が。
I won't let that
久
happen.
石さん、母を見ていてください。
Fusaishi-san, please look after
僕
her.
はフリーでいいのかい？
Not gonna lock me up again? No one replied. Apparently it didn't matter anymore.
ちえみちゃん、
Chiemi-chan. She's making the same face she did whenever she talked about
や
God.
っぱりこうなった。
I knew this would happen. Strangely enough, there was emotion in her eyes. I could see 90% resignation and 10% fear. Watching me until she finally passed outside, she followed the others toward the hall.
酒はどこにあるんだ？
Where's the sake, hey?
そんなのもういいじゃないですか。
Can't we just skip that part?
清めるのは大事よ。ほれ、野里。
The cleansing is important. Here you go,
い
Nasato-sama.
ただく。
Thank you. Thank you. That hits the
し
spot.
んちゃんも
You too, Chi-chan.
やすくん、
Yasu-kun,
あんたは舐めるだけ。
you just take a lick.
姉ちゃんは
What about One-chan?
上松様はもうダメじゃ。
Uematsu-sama can't be here anymore. Ah,
世話するわ。
I'll look after this girl. What's the point?
ちえねえ、しっかりしてよ。
Gene, get a grip.
では始めるが、私は織部夫人をくくるのに一票入れたい。
Then let's begin. I vote to hang Madame Oribe.
根拠は何です？
For what
彼
reason?
女は危険だ。
She's dangerous.
じゃあ僕は植松里香子さんに一票入れますよ。
In that case, I will vote for Rikako. In that case, I will vote for Rikako Uematsu-san for the same reason.
他の各位はどう考えるのかね。仮投票だ。決定じゃないとしてだ。
What about the rest? This is a temporary vote for now. Say what you think.
私はどっちもくくるべきと思っておりますよ。
I think we should hang both. Doesn't really matter what order.
今頭回ってない。
I can't think straight right now.
リカ子をくくるべきよ。香織さんは話せばわかるかもしれないけど、あっちはもう化け物じゃない。
We should hang Rikako Uematsu. We can at least talk to Kaori-san. But Rikako Uematsu is a mad
お
beast.
前はどうなんだ、子供。
What about you, child?
姉ちゃん、食べるの？
They're eating One-chan?
何を言ってる。いいか、お前の好きなリカ子さんを守りたいなら、織部香織をくくるのに投票しろ。
What's that supposed to mean? Listen, if you want to protect Rikako-san, then vote to hang Kaori Oribe. Why are you making a child do this? Like, yeah, she's part of the vote and she has a right to it, but why involve a child in this? Ah,
無理ですよ、分かりっこない。危険が3人、あとは2対1。決まったようですね。
she won't understand. 3 didn't vote, and the 3 who did are in favor of hanging Uematsu-san. It's decided.
ふざけるな。わざわざ移り住んでまで安水に身を尽くした彼女に対して、これが安水の恩の返し方か。
This is absurd. Is this how you repay her for moving here and working so hard on her behalf? Well, she's the biggest danger, Kiyonosuke.
それは
I
というか、聞かせてくれませんか？母は取り乱してはいるけど、話は通じる。
hear me out, will you? My mom is just a bit out of it right now. We may still be able to reason with her.
植松さんは、あれじゃ、獣と同じじゃないですか。投票だってもうできない。
However, Uematsu-san is basically a mindless animal. She doesn't even have the capacity to vote on things. Unlike mom, she's a young Mabito now.
今日母をくくったとして、明日はどうするんです？植松さんを何とかする手はあるんですか？
Even if we hang my mom today, what will we do tomorrow? Do you have a way of fixing Uematsu-san?
決まりですかね。
Looks like it's decided.
なんと短絡的な。血縁者ゆえのひいき目かもしれんが、対極的なものが何も見えていない。
How simplistic. I know you're biased because Madame Oribe is relative, but you don't see the big picture. You are biased too, Kiyonosuke.
なんですって？
What?
考えてもみろ。我々はあくまで狼を全滅させねばならんのだ。優先度からすればそっちの方が先だ。
Think about it. Our top priority is to kill the wolves. That comes before all else.
読み人は狼ではないのだろう。であれば、彼女は狼でないと証明されたも同義なのだ。
Yomabito aren't wolves, are they? That basically proves that Rikako-san isn't a wolf.
は？どういうことです？
Oh, what do you mean?
伝承を思い出してみるがいい。狼とは世持つ狼。すでに黄泉の汚れを負った存在なのだ。
Remember the legend. The wolves are Yomutsu Okami, beings already corrupted by
こ
Yomi.
の上さらに読み人になるなど考えられるかね。
Do you really believe they can become Yomabito as well?
山脇さん、どう思われるか。
Yamawaki-san, what's your opinion?
それは、 そうか
That
もしれんですが。
that might be true.
こういう仮説はどうかね。強い汚れを受ければ斬死する。あの取材者たちや君の弟のように。
See, here's a hypothesis. Powerful corruption slaughters you like it did those journalists and your brother.
しかし一方、弱い汚れは狂気となる。狂ったお守りが狼で、狂った人が読み人だ。
However, weaker levels of corruption cause madness. Mad guardians are wolves, while mad humans are Yomibito.
つまり汚れの罰は狼にとって斬死のみを意味し、人には読み人と斬死の二通りあり得る。
That means that the corruption's punishment can only be slaughter for wolves, and either slaughter or Yomibito transformation for
不
humans.
思議な妄想だ。
That's just a convenient delusion.
証明する手立てはない。しかし最もらしさを積み上げることはまだできるぞ。
Indeed, I have no way to prove it, but I can make it seem more plausible.
もし狼が汚れで狂うというのならば、あんな姿になるのかね。人の皮をかぶった獣が狂ったならば。
If the wolves could go mad due to the corruption, would they even look like Rikako-san does? These are beasts disguised as humans. Would they truly look like that if they'd gone mad?
私は獣は本性を表すと思うがね。毛むくじゃらな本性。リカコさんはそうなったかね。なっていない。
I think the beasts would show their true selves, their bestial fury. Is that what happened to Rikako-san? No.
それは、そうかもしれんです。
No, that might be true.
それじゃあ、香織さんを先にすべきなのかね。
Then maybe we should hang Kaori-san first. Taiba?
野里さんはおとぎ話を前提にして話してる。実際に人が死んでいるのにだ。こんな
You're basing
馬鹿げてるでしょ。
You're basing your decisions on fairy tales? We've had actual deaths here. This is ridiculous.
馬鹿げているのはどっちだ。汚れの恐怖を認めるならば、それは伝承を認めるということだ。
I'm the one who's ridiculous. To accept the fear of the corruption means to accept the legends.
私は認めたぞ。汚れを恐れつつ伝承を軽んじるのは二重基準ではないかね。
See, I've accepted it. Fearing the corruption while disregarding the legends is what's truly ridiculous, don't you think?
知恵ね。
Chiene,
私は神様が怖い。
I'm afraid of God.
そして全てを手のひらの上でもてあそんでいる神様が怖い。
I'm afraid of this God who toys with us as we dance on his palm.
何を言ってるの？知恵ね。
What are you saying?
いや、それだからこそ
Regardless of, no, because of that.
怖いものと戦わなきゃならなくて、戦うには武器が必要で。
We need to fight back against our fears. For that, we need weapons. Haruaki-san.
え、
Huh?
なんであいつ？
Why him?
私はヤス君、君に投票する。
I vote for you, Yasu-kun. What? No, what?
何を？知恵ねえ。
What? Chiene?
意味がわからんぞ、芹沢。
I'm not sure I understand you, Serizawa.
佐藤さん、ここから確定票を取って。いつまでも話し合っても無駄でしょ。
Misato-san, start the proper vote. There's no point in just talking.
それは、しかし。
Oh, but
いつかやらなきゃならないことだ。それに知恵ねが確定票を入れるなら僕らが入れないのはアンフェアだ。
this is going to happen sooner or later, and if she's truly casting her vote, it's only fair for us to cast ours.
許せるかどうかは別だよ、知恵ね。
But whether I can forgive you or not is another story, Chiene.
分かってる。
I know.
異論はないか。ではこれから確定票とする。
No objections, then let's begin the vote.
私の考えを言うね。
野里さんの言い分は半分まで聞いた。この場は狼を探すために使うべき。
Here's what I think. Masato-san is half right. We're supposed to search for wolves here.
その論拠が昔話の解釈なのは論外。モッチーや狼じじいやクミ兄ちゃんは人間に殺されてるんだ。
But I'm completely against relying on the legends for evidence. Mochi, the old wolf guy, and Takumi-ni-chan all died at the hands of
な
people.
らば昔話じゃなくて今まであったことを振り返って考えるべき。
That's why we should
私は考えた。
That's why we should look back over what's happened so far instead of the legends. So how about
ま
this?
ず私と同じように優先順位をちゃんとつけられる人はこの中で誰か。
First, who aside from me understood the purpose of the
野
feast?
里さんはさっき言った通り、メイコちゃんは若すぎて無理。はるちゃんは
Nasato-san said it himself. Meiko-chan is too young to understand. And
ぶ
Haru-chan,
っちゃけ野里さんへのアンチとヤスくんの味方をするだろうって思った。状況に関わらずね。
honestly, I think she'd oppose Nasato-san and side with Yasu-kun regardless of the situation.
タエばあちゃんはきっと伝説やら何やら中心で語るだろうって分かってる。一等信心深い人だからね。
Tayaba-chan would look to the legends, obviously. She's the biggest believer
じ
here.
ゃあヤスくんはどうだろう。辛いこともあったし、今はお母さんがくくられる寸前で焦る気持ちはわかる。
What about Yasu-kun, though? Oh, I know it's been hard for him, and with his mom about to be hanged, I can understand why he'd panic.
その対抗としてリカ子さんをくくる方向で進めちゃうのはどうかな。
But then why push for Rikako-san's hanging?
安水の人間なら確かに長者をくくる方向に誘導するのは簡単かもだけど、君には優先度ってものが分かってるはず。
It's easy for us Yasumizu people to justify hanging the village heads, but you should understand what comes
怪
first.
しい見るとなきにせんなんて言葉より前に直接の脅威になり得る狼を探すべきってね。
Death of the damned Yomobito is the mandate. We should be looking for the immediate threat at hand, the wolves, before worrying about those words.
私の知ってるヤス君は切羽詰まっても理屈っぽくそんなことを言う人だった。
The Yasu-kun I know would keep a cool head even in a crisis.
言い
Chine,
たいことは分かったよ。
I understand what you're saying.
僕はこいつが許せないんだ。
I just can't forgive him. Eek.
あなたが適当なことを言って場をかき回すもんだから、匠兄も義継もモッチーも殺された。
Whenever you talk, it always makes a mess of things. Takumi, Yoshisugu, and Mochi are dead because of you.
この後に及んで次は母さんだというあなたが許せないんだ。
And now you want to take my mother? I'm sick of you.
どうしたの？落ち着いて。
Ni-chan, what's wrong? Calm down.
そうだね。優先度なんて忘れてた。僕はこいつの鼻を明かしたかった。それでハルちゃんを利用したのさ。
So yeah, I forgot about the purpose of the feast. It's just an act of petty revenge. I used Haru-chan for that.
僕の本性はそれだけのつまらない人間だよ。
Like you said, that's all there is to me. I'm a petty, boring
不
person.
満なの？知恵ね
Are you still not satisfied?
らしくないとしか思わない。
Yeah, this is totally out of character for you.
これはきっと疑心暗鬼だと思う。でも言うね。
Yasu-kun, I'm probably just looking too deeply into it, but
香織さんが食事を出した時、安永君と春ちゃんはいなかったよね。
when Kaori-san set the food, only you and Haru-chan were absent.
他の人があれで全滅してたら残るは君たち2人だった。あとは春脇さんか。
If the others had all been poisoned as planned, you'd be the only survivors, Haruaki-san
あな
notwithstanding.
たが狼だったらとても楽な展開だよね。
If you were a wolf, that'd be pretty good for you, right?
僕が母さんにあれをやらせたっていうのか。知恵ね
Are you suggesting I convinced Mom to poison everyone?
そうだったら最悪だって思うよ。
That'd be just the
トル
worst.
カブト香織さんが取ったのはおそらく朝だよね。それ以外暇はなかったし、ずいぶん早起きだったし。
She probably got the wolf's bane. And early in the morning, she was too busy otherwise, and it did look like she woke up early.
その時からみんなを殺す気だった。夜の間に吹き込まれたとするなら、話はわかるよね。
By that point, she was already resolved to kill us. It's easy to imagine that someone had given her the idea the previous night.
でも夜に連絡する手は。
What? But we can't contact anyone at night.
二人いる。
There are two wolves.
まさか。
What?
香織さんが唯一残った息子のために一人で汚れを被る覚悟で残る人の皆殺しを狙ったなら。
For the sake of her only living son, Kaori-san was ready to kill everyone, even if it meant being subject to the corruption.
私も人だもん。
But I'm human. How do we know that for sure now that we lost the snake, Haru?
最後に狼と人が残っても投票にならない。はるちゃんは何もできない。
If you only had the wolves and a lone human at the end, votes would no longer matter. Haru-chan wouldn't be able to do anything.
嘘だよね。
No, wait. Hey, Ni-chan.
やすくん
Yasu-kun.
ありえないんだ。
That's impossible.
母さんが狼だったら義継が死ぬわけがない。
I mean, if Mom were a wolf, Yoshisugu wouldn't have died.
それを生かすために僕を殺すならありえたかもしれないけど。
She could have killed me to spare him, though.
いや頼んだって聞いてくれるわけがないだろう。母さんも僕よりあいつの方が好きなんだから。
You think I convinced her to do that? She'd never listen. She loved him way more than me.
ねえ、あんまりよ。兄ちゃんがお母さんにそんなこと言うはずないじゃん。
Chiene, hey, this is cruel. There's no way he'd say anything like that to his mom.
別に私はよし君が殺されたとは言ってない。彼は単に夜出歩いて汚れを受けただけかもしれない。
I'm not saying the wolves killed Yoshi-kun. He might have just been out at night and killed by the corruption.
香織さんは狼じゃなくても息子が狼だって知ったら汚れを厭わず助けるかもしれない。
Also, even if she wasn't a wolf, she'd help her son even if it meant falling victim to the corruption.
都合のいいことを言って兄ちゃんをどんどん悪者にしようとしてるようにしか見えないわ。
It sounds like you're saying whatever you can to make Ni-chan into a bad guy.
どうしちゃったのよ、シエネ。私たちのことはどんな時だって守ってくれてたじゃん。
What's wrong with you, Chiene? Hey, you always used to protect us.
あの人なの。
Was it him?
妻子さんがそうやって言えって。あの人に出会って家は変わっちゃったの。
Did Fusaishi-san tell you to say that? Did he make you change? Very good question there, Haru, but it could be that she just started to think too.
そんなことはないよ。ただあの人の真似をして自分の頭で考えてみただけ。
No, he didn't. I'm just following his example and thinking for myself.
信じたくないことだって。それが真実である可能性からは目を背けるべきじゃないって。
Things I don't want to be true could actually be true, and I can't look away from them.
それで思いつきで僕に対して絶縁状と同じ一票を送ろうって言うんだね。
And so you decided to vote against me and ruin our friendship? I mean,
だってらしくないんだもん。そうやって脅しみたいなことを言うヤス君がさ。
listen to yourself. The Yasu-kun I know would never try to guilt me into submission like that.
私からしたら君だよ。変わっちゃったように見えるのはさ。
If you ask me, you're the one who changed.
で、結局どうするのかね。
So who will you vote
こ
for?
とには責任を持たなきゃね。私はヤス君を疑ったから、それをちゃんと形に残すよ。
I need to take responsibility for what I said. I suspected Yasukun and I'm sticking to
で
that.
は織部安永に1票だ。
One vote for Yasunaga Oribe.
順番がずれましたけど、席順で言えばタイバーが最初でしょ。タイバーどうする？
We messed up the order, but in terms of seating order, type is first. How will you vote?
私は香織さんにするわよ。上松様は確かに狼とは思えん。
I will vote for Kaori-san. I don't think Uematsu-sama is a
あ
wolf.
なたはどうします？野里さん。
What about you, Nasato-san?
今さらあなたなどと。私の答えは変わらんよ。それどころ今の芹沢の言葉で気持ちが固まった。
So now you're being respectful. My answer doesn't change. In fact, Serizawa's words made me all the more certain.
織部安永、君が狼とは正直今の態度からは考えづらいが、母親がそうだという可能性は高そうだ。
Yasunaga Oribe, in all honesty, your current attitude makes it hard to believe you are a wolf, but it's likely your mother is.
織部香織に1票。
One vote for Kaori
君
Oribe.
はどうするのかね。織部安永。
What about you, Yasunaga Oribe?
上松里香子さんです。
I'm still voting for Rikako Uematsu-san.
上松里香子に投票するわ。
I'm voting for Rikako Uematsu
子
too.
供は
The child
後期でいいか。
can be ignored.
待ってメイコちゃん、よく考えて。あなたの票で人の勝ち負けが決まっちゃうかもしれないんだから。
Wait, Mako-chan, think. Your vote might decide whether humans win or lose.
知恵ねえ、そこまでするのか？小さい子にデタラメを吹き込んで票を奪おうなんて。
Chiene, you'll go that far? You'll trick a child to take her vote?
これしか手がないなら何だってする。メイコちゃん、リカコさんがいなくなったら嫌だよね。
If that's what it takes, I'll do it, Mako-chan. You don't want Rikako-san to be gone, right? No,
だ
no.
ったら
Then
無駄だよ。僕に投票させたって3人同率で決着がつかないだけだ。
it's pointless even... Yeah, thanks for the subscription there, or follow. Let's see. It's pointless, even if she votes for me, it'll just be a three-way tie.
人選ぶの？
I choose who I don't need?
そうよ。
Oh. This is on Switch. I usually put it in the stream title, the console that I'm playing. But how are you doing? Let me check on... I'll pronounce your name too, because the way I monitor things can make things difficult. Working on a house, huh? Housework, I take it? Marilyn? And did you check out today's question of the day, too? Because if you haven't, I encourage you to check that out. It's kind of an interesting question today. Jimmy says yes. Then
おばちゃん、怖かったから。
I'll go with the lady. She was scary.
それは食堂の女の人かね。
You mean the woman from the dining hall? Mm-hmm.
決まりだな。
It's decided then.
そんな
No.
冗談だろ。そんないい加減なことで母さんが。
Ah. Ooh. That's gotta be frustrating there. My cousin had problems with renters too when he was living in the UK temporarily. And they just wouldn't be upfront with him, and the person or people that were supposed to look over the property every so often didn't do their job, so he had those kind of troubles too. But I hope it's not too much trouble that you have to go through, because that sounds like a lot of work. Let's see. This has to be a sick joke. Mom will die because of something like this. Yes, she will, Yasunaga. This is majority rules.
それでも一票は一票だ。
A vote is a vote.
兄ちゃん、
Nichan, it's over. I heard muffled screams and sobs from the dining hall behind me. Ah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. That does sound like quite a bit of a hassle. Me, I would have got a contractor or something for all that just because of how much work it sounds like it would be involving. Let's see. Gagged and tied, Kaoriori Bay was still waiting. No. Wailing, I should say, yeah. She couldn't move properly and had a pole fixed to her shoulders, but I was still worried enough to check every now and then. The lack of change helped calm my nerves, but at the same time I resented myself a bit for it. Quite a bit of time had passed since the feast had begun. What kind of decision would they make? The daily wolf lynching hanging had failed every single time so far. Well, it failed every single time, but it'll eventually succeed unless everyone else is dead. That's how this game goes, since it's like that. Ooh, that does sound... Huh. That's a nice bargaining there. But yeah, it can cost a lot. The problem I hear with doing it yourself, though, a lot of times is, depending on where you are and what the job is, it can be like illegal to do some things yourself. Like, I think plumbing work is part of them naturally, but again, it's all based on where you are and what you're doing, kind of thing, from what I get of the gist. And a lot of times it's like that just because it's dangerous to do it yourself, and that's understandable. But hey, at least you're getting help. And they're getting a free drink or meal out of you. Ah. Ah. I see. Well, that makes sense. Let's see. Considering the number of days remaining and how many people were left, if they messed up today, the humans would lose all hope of surviving. If either Kaori Oribe or Rikako Uematsu ended up chosen, there would just be no chance anymore. Once I saw people leaving the hall, my mouth moved on its own. It's done then. Their eyes were steady. They walked in my direction. Not to me though, but to the dining hall.
香織さんを選んだのか
You chose Kaori-san? I asked away. I was speaking to the last representative of sanity in this place, Kiyonosuke Nosato. Move. We didn't even converse. His tone and the look in his eyes were different from usual. His usual arrogance and pride was gone, and in its place stood a deadly determination.
Yasunaga-kun.
Yasunaga-kun. I lost. Haru-chan.
私は嫌だって言った。
I was against
お
it.
ばあさん
Oba-san.
新内様のおぼし飯じゃ。
It's the will of Shinai-sama.
ちえみ
Jamie.
春秋さんはこの子
Haruaki-san, take the girl. Meiko was at the rear of the group. Somewhat hesitantly, she walked up to me. I moved aside to let them pass. They all entered the dining hall and dragged out the victim. The ones holding the ropes and doing the dragging were Kiyonosuke Nosato and Chieme Arizawa. Following behind was Tai Yamawaki, prodding her onward with a bamboo broom.
やめろ
Stop. As his mother cried out in pain, Yasunaga Oribe followed the group, hand in hand with Haru Makishima.
止めろ
Stop them. Haru Makishima was bawling. Yasunaga Oribe was shaking, not even trying to hide his sobs. His face was warped in anguish. Someone. As the group faded away, the gag fell out and the victim's voice grew loud. Not a scrap of reason remained, only raw terror. And this is creepy indeed here. Or perhaps madness. Oh, please, someone beg for her life. However, I didn't hear any pleas to the very end, and I painfully realized I wasn't participating in the feast. I wasn't part of this life selection game bound by otherworldly rules. Bah!
見るな
Don't look. I turned Meiko away, hugged her, and covered her ears. Because of that, I couldn't cover my own. Parent-like dedication, what a weird idea. Anyway, as the group disappeared into the mist, I somehow felt as though the screams or laughs grew even clearer. I was subjected to this illusion until the very end. During the final moments, the mother called out her son's name. It was the name of the elder son, and he responded by calling for his mother. But at the very last moment, it felt like the victim shouted out a different name. There was a strange sound followed by silence.
メコ
Meiko. Meiko's body was surprisingly warm. In response, she just nodded.
明日僕と一緒にここを逃げよう
Let's escape from this place tomorrow. She nodded again.
植松里香子は諦めるんだ。
Give up on Rikako Uematsu. Mako started crying. In this game, it's basically a horror story with like a werewolf setup. So they're trying to hunt down the wolves, but it's like high stakes in that you really die in this plot line. But your main character, or the main character that we're following, he's got like some Steins Gate stuff or whatever, and that he can loop back to the beginning and do things over. And unlike other visual novels, where you kind of have to save to get back to things quickly, you could bring up this thing and go back to wherever you have to go to get a different place. But essentially, you're just trying to figure out what's going on and everything and trying to solve it. So yeah, this visual novel is kind of like a horror mystery combo, and I'm digging the mystery portion of it. Like, I want to see the explanation of what's going on. Let's see. I let her go, took her by the hand, and led her to the dorm. There, I took all the remaining food I had. Then I escorted her back to her place.
明日の朝、僕が迎えに来るまでじっとしてるんだ。
Lock up, I'll come pick you up tomorrow morning. Still crying, she nodded.
これをちゃんと食べるんだぞ。
Eat this, all of it, okay? I gave her some food and closed the door. Once I turned around, I saw them.
今日の宴は終わった。
Today's feast is over. There wasn't a hint of emotion in his voice.
そうですか。
I see. And I'm not too sure about the real werewolf game, the party game. I've looked into it a bit, but in the story involved here, there's 2 wolves instead of like 1. At least minimum wise, there's 2 that they have to look for. I see. As one who didn't participate in the feast, I was in no position to criticize or support them. They just turned around and returned to their places, leaving no indicator whether they'd actually heard me. 3 of them were headed in the same direction. I didn't feel like joining them instead, and casting a glare at their backs as they walked. My powerlessness was killing me. Under the assumption I would die tomorrow, I decided I would go through the mists down to Saranaga, a strict taboo here. What kind of death would that get me? Would I be injured, wander into some other world, something else entirely? Or perhaps I'd be eaten by a monster. I still had that incomprehensible memory, but it was enough to make me suspect that was the most likely scenario. Normally, people didn't remember dying. The unknown was scary, but journeying into the unknown meant conquering that fear, so you could say there were some perks to remembering that death. But if it was guaranteed that I would die like that, I wasn't really keen on the idea. That had hurt like hell, not to mention how terrifying the experience was.
マシな死に方を考える。
Then think of a better way to
もっと
die.
痛くない死に方。
One that won't hurt so much. I think pretty much every method's going to hurt.
あるいは、痛みと引き換えになるような何かを成し遂げる死に方。
Or at least would be worth the pain. If it led to the survival of a young child. Like if it led to the survival of a young child. Anyway, I'd wager my life. All that remained was finding supporters. I closed my eyes and took a few deep breaths. Whoosh. I threw a Yakuza kick into the wall. Ah! Then I did a low kick with the other leg. Why doesn't he do a roundhouse kick? He's practicing martial arts now, isn't he?
ついに尻尾中せて、玉の扉数破れ。
The 7 treasures have finally been lost. To the elements, the sacred orb reduced to rust.
空虚の草むらに、豚のムクロがシャウトする。
In the jungle of the decadent void, the Buddha's corpse shouts out, Rah! As I sing the Buddha's ash rock. You are, huh? It's just that ridiculous for you? Because I found it kind of ridiculous. As I sang the Buddha's ash rock song, I attacked the wall with my ass, which prompted a response from the other side. Shut up! I heard Jamie's angry... Yeah, be... Yeah, you gotta be careful there, Marilyn. I don't think you meant anything wrong by it, but Nightbot picks up on it, and I would have done something about it, but I've had troubles with trolls in the past, and that setting has kind of like helped me deal with that, so I'm not gonna touch it. But if you feel like punishing Nightbot, I have a Kamehameha command. Just type in ! commands and you'll see all the commands that I've got. There you go. Yeah, that's what it does when you do it just without any tagging people, but if you tag them, it'll do something different. Yeah. There you go. Yep. I've had some people that liked that command. It's a nice thing. Let's see. I heard Jamie's angry voice through the front door. You sound like you enjoyed it.
あんなん誰だって反応に困るけど。
You do, huh? I might look into something like that. I don't know right now. Would be interesting to find out what that command is like that you mentioned, the popcorn one, or if it's a bot. see. No one would know how to react to that. The walls here were thin, apparently.
とりあえず明日逃げよっか。
Anyway, let's escape tomorrow.
どんな流れで何を言い出してるの？
This is your idea of a conversation?
それだけツッコミができるなら十分正気でしょう。脱出脱出。クレイジーゾーンからおさらばしようぜ。
If you can still talk like... So it's kind of like the hug command and the Kamehameha command, except that it actually expects a user. Is that how I'm interpreting that correct? That it actually expects the user, unlike the hug or the Kamehameha, which it's just optional. Let me see. If you can still talk like that, you're pretty sane. Escape it is. Let's say bye-bye to this nest full of crazy.
あのね、春明さん。
Listen, Haruaki-san.
気だ。
I'm serious. Still outside my door, she fell silent. It's only about 8, still a safe time. I walked up to the door and unlocked
ひどい
it.
顔。
Damn, you look awful. Well, they just put somebody to death, and they don't know if she's one of the wolves or not. And who knows what the other role is, because the roles are the snake can determine who the wolf is, kind of like what I read in the series in the normal wolf game. And then you've got the spider who can protect. That's kind of like the medic from what I read. Like, the medic isn't like a true protector, but it's pretty much if somebody gets attacked by a wolf, then that the medic chose, and that person is kind of saved, kind of deal. Whereas the spider is like they're protected at night thing. And then you've got the crow, who we don't know at this point. We know that the snake and spider are dead, but we don't know who the crow is, and the crow can figure out what the person that was killed by hanging can be. So I don't know if we'll find out who that crow is, so that we can find out if the person that was just offed could be one of the wolves or not. But yeah, her feelings here would be understandable because of all that.
そんなに？
Is it that bad? Nah, just joking.
何その軽妙なふっかけ。彼氏か。
What's with the joke? See my boyfriend now or something? Well, you could use some cheering up, Jamie. Can't you? That or a hug.
君の切り返しも本調子に見えるけど、でもそんな仮面の下に超常的苦悩を隠してんだろ。全部吐いちゃえよ。
You put on a tough face, but it's mask hiding some supernatural suffering, isn't it? Come on, talk to me.
まあ、吐かなくてもいい。とりあえず座れば。
Well, don't if you don't want to. Take a
お
seat.
邪魔します。
Pardon the intrusion. Alone in an empty room, we sat cross-legged and looked at each
今日の
other.
宴の内容を教えて。
Tell me what happened during the feast today.
結局、誰なんだ？
Who are the wolves? Well, we don't know who the wolves are. And unless we find out who the crow is, we probably won't find out if the person who died today is one of them.
もうわかんない。というかもう、どれでもいい。
I don't know. Hell, I don't even care anymore. The situation was hopeless. She felt the same way. So far, there wasn't a single lynching with a good reason behind it, and it didn't feel like they'd gotten lucky and killed a wolf.
いっそあの青ビオタンが狼ならな。すっきり憎めるのに。
If only that scrawny rich guy were a wolf, it'd be so easy to hate him.
匠さんからお墨付きが出てる以上、その可能性はとても低い。
Takumi-san said he's clean, so that's not unlikely. And Takumi-san was supposedly the snake in this, and before his death, I was like, pal, you're either an idiot or a genius. And if he was a wolf, then he'd have been a genius for saying that he was a snake. But it's just one of those things that we don't know at this point if he really was the snake or not. I know. But still. Assuming Yasunaga-kun was actually a wolf, I really doubted he was cold-hearted enough to keep up the act of a human while seeing off his mother to her death. Like Chieme had pointed out, it was best to assume Kaori-san had only done what she did for her son. If everyone died and only one was left, he'd be the victor regardless of if he was human or a wolf, probably. Whatever the case, it was important to note that I was wrong to guess whether Yasunaga-kun was a wolf based on this alone. Kaori Oribe was in a messed up mental state that led her to plot the deaths of herself and everyone else just to save her son. It was simply the immense power of motherly love at work. Twisted motherly love, but yeah. I'd messed it up by sending Haru-chan to the second floor. Kaori-san probably resented me for that. Not to mention, I was the one who'd pinned her down. Being the target of a dead person's enmity was a rare experience, and in my opinion, it was uncomfortable.
私には無理だったな。春明さんの真似は。
Turns out I couldn't follow your
僕
example.
の真似。
My example?
考えていろいろやってみたけど。
Yeah, I tried to think and did stuff, but well... Was I a bad influence on her? Well, carefully deliberating your actions was never a bad thing, obviously. Also, it was worth noting she pointed out that Yasunaga-kun trying to guilt trip her wasn't like him. Her own intuition was important too. Besides him, there was Tai-san, who believed nothing but the superstitions, Haru-chan, who always agreed with Yasunaga-kun, and Meiko, the one who sealed Kaori-san's fate.
みんな怪しいな。
Everyone is suspicious.
だからもう、誰でもいい。
Yeah, that's why I don't care who it is anymore. Chiemi, he hung her
玲
head.
子ちゃんは助けてやることに決めてるんだけど、
I've decided to help Meiko-chan.
ここを出て。無理だって言ってんじゃん。
How? By running away with her? I'm telling you, it's pointless. How do you know, Chieme? Have you tried it before? And chances are, if you did, then you're in the same situation as the main character here. But who knows? Could also be like that monkey experiment that people have heard about before, where you got some monkeys around and they tried to do something, but they were like swatted away or punished for doing something, and then all of a sudden you've got like one day a new monkey after these initial monkeys were put in, and the new monkey tries to do whatever they did in the past and just swats them out, and eventually no one knows why it's against the rules anymore. It could be something like that.
待ってて確実に死ぬよか良くないか？彼女が狼だったら一人減らせてラッキーかもよ。
It's better than just sitting around waiting for death, isn't it? And if she turns out to be a wolf, you'd be down to one. Lucky day, huh?
なのかな？もうわかんない。
Would it be? I don't know anymore.
人殺しちゃった。
I killed someone. You did, huh? When? In your childhood, Himi? Because again, we don't know how you know all this. She said it casually, but I could tell that was hard for her to say.
君は悪くないさ。
It's not your fault. I responded equally casually. I felt like breaking the illusion would be too much to handle. Wow, it's like you don't care at all.
そもそも君は反対したろ？
But you were against it, weren't you?
一応殺人を止めなかったってことはそれに賛同したってことじゃない？
Not stopping the murder makes me a partner in crime, doesn't it? A lot of the time, yeah, but things can be kind of complicated.
それは僕も同じだし。
I'm the same in that regard. Oh, right.
それに異常な状況下で異常な決断をしてしまうことに法はある程度理解を示すんじゃないかな。
Also, the law would understand you made the wrong decisions because of the circumstances.
ねえ。
Uh-huh.
どうにしたってまともな法で裁かれるなら意味不明な山の掟に裁かれるより億倍マシでしょう。
Well, being punished under a proper rule of law is infinitely better than being punished by some weird laws of some mountain. Yeah, I can agree with that, but the laws of mankind can be just as weird.
それともちえみちゃんはむしろ超常的な死を遂げたいのか？
Or what? Do you want to die a supernatural death?
どれも的を外してるってところか。
No dice, huh? Yeah. Man, this was
神
complicated.
様ってやつのせいか。
Is it God's fault?
半分はそう。
Half of it,
もう
yeah.
半分は説明しづらい。
But you can't explain the other half. Right.
じゃあ神様の方を話してよ。
Then talk about God at least.
どう言えばいいのかな。
How do I put
神
this?
様は不幸なんだ。
God is misfortune.
いや、辞書的な意味で不幸のことをそう呼んでるわけじゃなくて、その
Well, I don't mean that literally. It's just that
神様がいるからどうやっても私たちは幸せになれない。
it's because of God that we can't attain
それ
happiness.
は目に見えるもの？
Is God visible?
私たちはみんな見てる。でも本質は目に見えないものかも。
Yeah, we've all seen it, but its true form might be
目に
invisible.
見える部分について聞こう。
Let me ask about the visible part.
人間？
Is it human? Though slowly and hesitantly, she gave me a light nod. Kind of interesting that she'd say that, because in a lot of realms, the way we equate God would be like the connection between a human And an ant, I mean the little small creature, or ants. Their ants don't know how we think in that, and as far as they're concerned, we humans can kill them for any reason we so desire. They'll never understand us, so likewise, our relationship between us and a god of any kind, at least that god, is pretty much a similar situation. Let's see. Though slowly and hesitantly, she gave me a light nod.
安水の誰か
Is it someone from Yasumizu? Silence, neither yes nor no.
上藤吉の人間
Then is it someone from Kami Fujiyoshi? She kept her silence. Her shoulders were shaking a bit.
じゃあ
Then,
違う、やっぱ違う。人間じゃない。人間をどうしたって神様はどうにもならない。
no, it's not human. You can deal with humans, but God is beyond them. Shit, I knew it'd go like
落
this.
ち着いて説明するんだ。じゃないと僕も君もやられる。
Calm down and explain, otherwise we'll both be killed.
殺してくれればいい。こんなひどい夢とっとと終わらせてほしいのに。
Fine, I just want this nightmare to be over already.
春明さん、私を殺して。あなたの手なら私死ねる気がする。
Hey Mira, how are you doing? And did you check out today's question of the day? Hey Haruaki-san, kill me if it's at your hands. Ah, you did, huh? Did you sleep well? Yep, definitely an interesting question there. And it's kind of a fun one too. What's your answer? Genshin, huh? You mean Tevat? Because Genshin's a game and Tevat's about the closest you'll get to a planet. Let's see. Hey, Haruaki-san, kill me. If it's at your hands, I think I can really die.
何言い出すんだ。しっかりしろ。
What are you saying? Get a hold of yourself. And that's really telling there that he said that. Yeah, I thought so. And it is kind of an interesting place to be, that's for sure. I was having a hard time because I was like, maybe I'd want to visit Kepler 22b and see what it's really like. Because that's a planet that's supposedly close to the conditions that we have here on Earth, but it's pretty far away and we know nothing about it, not even if the water is actually safe to drink. Well, let's see. Back to this, though. I was looking at what she was saying, and it's kind of telling that she says this right here. If it's at your hands, I think I can really die. That's kind of pointing to the fact that she is like our protagonist in that she loops, but she could also be a bit crazy here. Who knows? But with the supernatural elements in here and her saying that, I suspect the most that she's looping, just like our guy Haruaki here. Yeah. What are you saying? Get a hold of yourself.
しっかりしてる。私は汚れてなんかない。私は狂ってない。狂ってなんかおかしいのは。
I am. I'm not corrupted. I'm not insane. I'm not.
おかしいのは藤吉全部よ。おかしいのは神様の方よ。
It's Fujiyoshi that's crazy. It's God that's crazy.
様とは状態のことなのか？
Is God some state of being? I just kind of blurted out something without thinking. Chamie was clearly in a state of panic. The despair was one cause, but someone panicked like this couldn't explain themselves properly. Also, I didn't feel like this was simply some spiritual being she could see. She could perceive God as a sensation of sorts, and the fact others couldn't caused her to panic. Explaining a sense like that wasn't easy, and trying to explain it in detail was also a reminder of how much it scared her. I had to try and understand what she was sensing and find a better word for it than God. That was what I had thought to myself after saying those words. But why did she suddenly go quiet? She was raising her head and her eyes were wide, staring right at me. She'd completely stopped voicing her pain. Did I hit the nail on the head? As I considered that possibility, I felt a cold, damp breeze from behind me. She wasn't staring at me, she was staring at something behind me. I turned around, following the direction of her eyes. How long had the front door been open? Had I forgotten to lock the door? And how long had that thing been there? Ooh. Kinda creepy there. There was a person outside. Was it even human? Through the darkness, I could see that it definitely had a humanoid silhouette. But it was definitely abnormal. Its body was covered in bandages, no sutras. It was a smallish boy or girl covered in marked cloth. Again, was it even human? I asked the same question again, unable to even voice the words. I couldn't move a finger, or rather, I didn't because I had no idea what would have happened if I did. As the tension began to overwhelm me, I saw its lips move.
黄泉の匂い
The wolves cometh.
狼が来ある
The smell of Yomi.
急ぎ物意味夢見せよ
Cleanse, shelter, and dream.
藤吉の娘
Daughter of Fushioshi. Daughter of Fushioshi? That's kind of a strange thing to say. A howl. I heard something fall. Turning back around, I realized it was Chamie. Chamie. Still confused, I rushed over and caught her. It was a momentary loss of consciousness. She hadn't fainted. She just seemed to be drifting at the border of reality.
しっかりしろ。
Hey, wake up.
私なんで
Why am I here?
さっきのやつは何なんだ？
What was that thing?
さっきのおかしいななんだろう眠い
What then, weird? I'm so sleepy.
帰るわ
Hey, Buckeye. How are you doing? Yeah. Yeah. But how are you doing, Buckeye? Yeah, but I hope you had a fun time with that. Because that's the point of things. If you're not having fun, there's no point in it. And Buckeye, did you check out today's question of the day? Because it's an interesting one. That's good. Yeah. Ah, Jupiter, huh? I want to say that's one of the scary planets, but it's interesting, and why I say it's scary is... both of them are... Yeah, that would be kind of interesting, though both planets would crush you, and one of those planets is quite scary. Like, they're both scary in the fact that they'd crush you the deeper you go, but one of those two I've read is actually scary because they can turn the magnetic fields of planets these days into audible sounds that we can hear just through recordings. And it's either Jupiter or Saturn. And when you do that process, it sounds like a beach setting. You've got the seagulls and the beach sound, and it's like so much of what you find here on Earth. But when you go to that planet itself, that's not there. And it just makes it so scary. But yeah, it would be nice to see the rings of Saturn, what they'd look like from within the planet. Oh, let's see here. Sorry, I'm going back. Chie-Mei stood up. Her eyes were utterly devoid of life. You know, survival is always a question of that, and a lot of planets would kill you quickly, including Venus. And I had a hard time thinking of some that would be interesting. I was like, maybe Venus would be interesting to check out, but Mars would be another interesting one just because it's supposedly an easier planet to terraform than Venus would be. Let's see. She headed to the door. It was closed. There was no one there. I set the matter aside for now. Chie-Mei was way more important. I had to stop her. That was why
絶対に連れて行く。
I'll take you out of here. Wrapped my arms around her.
捨てる命なら僕にくれ。
If you want to throw away your life, give it to me. What the?
明日の朝、ちえみとメイコを連れてここを出る。
Tomorrow morning, I'll take you and Meiko and leave this place.
じゃないんだ。
You and Meiko, not just you? Why do you want it to be just us, Chie-Mei? Because we've got a child on our hands that needs to be protected too. That was her first response in a while.
君によろしくお願いされたからね。
その意は最後まで組ませてもらう。
Well, you entrusted her to me. I'll honor the trust you showed me until the end.
次なんだ。
Man of integrity, huh?
でしょ。実は、子供を見殺しにするのは他よりも気分が悪いって打算もあったりするんだ。
You noticed? Well, there's also the fact that I'm just not too keen on letting a child die.
悪ぶれてないよ、春明さん。あと、いつの間にか呼び捨てになってる。
You've dropped the tough guy act, Haruaki-san, also. When did you drop the
嫌
honorific?
だった
You don't like it?
嫌じゃないけど、けじめというか、区切りは欲しいな。
I don't mind. It's just that shouldn't there be a transition point for these kinds of things? And again, for those that just came into this is very much set in Japan, and a lot of the times you would refer to people by their last name or family name rather than their first, because it's supposedly very intimate if you use their first name. So that's what she's going on about, especially without the honorifics.
僕と付き合って。
Go out with
い
me.
いよ。
Sure.
だから一緒に逃げよう。
So let's get out of here. Okay.
言っておくけど、一緒に死んでもいいって意味だから。メイコちゃんのことは悪いけどあんま考えてないし。
Just so you know, I'm only saying that because I don't mind dying with you. Sorry, but Mako-chan's barely a blip on my radar.
自分に責任持てよ。
That's not very responsible, is it?
ちえみさんどうも脳に問題があるっぽいから、年長者に頼っちゃいたい。
Chiemi-san is a girl with many brain problems, so she prefers to rely on people older than her.
任せろ。あと、他に希望者がいたら連れて行くから。
Leave it to me. Also, we're taking anyone who wishes to join us.
私は特別扱いじゃないんだ。
What? I'm not getting special treatment here? No, you're not, Chiemi. Everyone deserves a fair chance of getting out of this alive if possible. Though I'm just more curious about what happens if this does go on more than me wanting them to survive, because information is important.
特別扱いだよ。他は任意だけど、君とは付き合った以上、踏んじばってでも連れて行く。
You are. The others have a choice, but now that we're dating, I'm taking you whether you like it or not.
微妙。
Not sure I'm happy about that
知っ
one.
てるか？僕はモテないんだ。
Did you know I'm actually not a very popular guy?
春明さん、
Haruaki-san.
ガト。
Thanks. Her teary voice compelled me to embrace her.
今夜、狼に殺されたら。
If I'm killed by the wolves tonight,
言うな。
don't say that.
私の、何でもいいから。どこか一部だけでも。
I don't care what take a part of me
心
outside.
配するな。
Don't worry. I'm scared.
僕がいる。
I'm right here.
僕が。
I'm here for you. It hurt to say baseless things. Even so, I kept on saying whatever I could to make her feel better. This went on for only 10 or so minutes, though. Even if the wolves didn't pay us a visit, we'd have to respect the rules of living here. We awkwardly exchanged some parting words, and I saw her off as she returned to her room, her parting ways with a frail smile on her damp face. And before I forget, I should probably shout you out, Buckeye. Let's see, so we'll take care of that. There you go. And there you go, Buckeye. We awkwardly exchanged some parting words, and I saw her off as she returned to her room, her parting ways with a frail smile on her damp face. Tomorrow, everything would be decided tomorrow. The 16th on a Friday. Another morning. Aside from being really hungry, I woke up the same as always. I hadn't died. The only real difference this morning was that I could go outside as I pleased. It was still misty out and I couldn't see much beyond the dorm. A settlement isolated in mist, a space cut away from the world. Could we really leave this place? Could we? It had to be physically possible. The idea that we couldn't was just speculation. No matter how much this place defied reality. What was that thing? Why had Jamie collapsed? How sane were we? Was this even really happening? Human senses and memories often lied to us, though just dismissing anything that didn't make sense as an illusion wasn't a good idea. That thing had actually visited us. Its appearance was strange, but I had little proof that it was something supernatural. Thus, that had to be human. As for the reason Shiemi collapsed, there were quite a few possibilities. Unless it was a trick she'd schemed with that thing beforehand. That being had to have been too much for her to handle emotionally.
あいつ、なんて言ってたっけ?
What did the thing say again? The wolves cometh to the smell of Yomi, cleanse, shelter, and dream, daughter of Fujiyoshi. Was it? It basically seemed like a fancy way of saying, get back to your room and sleep. So it was a warning from those who made the rules. Then was that something on the mountain Great Lord Shinai's side? No, to be honest, I'd say it was more like something from the other side. I mean, it kind of fit my image of Yomibito. It wore sutras in place of clothing, and the cloth over its face reminded me of a funeral shroud. The word corruption seemed particularly fitting. It had a really sinister aura to me anyway. Though that was strange. Great Lord Shinai was the enemy of the forces from Yomi. Yomibito wouldn't act as his messengers. This contradiction is quite eerie and alluring unknown. But that didn't matter now. My goal was to let Shiemi and any supporters we gathered escape. I returned to the room, made my futon, and started searching again. The futon was the only thing in the closet. There was nothing I could use as a weapon. I gave up, left the room, and went to Chiemi's. If the worst had come to pass, I had to fulfill her last request. The door was locked.
やはり、
I knew it. So the wolf was. I knocked. She came out after just a few seconds. Apparently she was already ready to
武器が
go.
欲しい。
I want a
そう
weapon.
思って
I figured. She gave me a pretty large knife with a sheath, probably used for hunting.
君のは
Got anything for yourself?
前の包丁はなくしちゃったからそれきりだから守ってね
I lost my kitchen knife, so you'll have to protect me,
任
alright?
せて。
Sure. I had zero confidence in pulling it off, but sometimes bravado was important to hold on to. We went to Haru-chan's room. It wasn't locked. The room was no bigger than the others, but it was a huge mess. But it didn't look like there was a corpse present. She'd either already woken up and went outside without locking the door, or a corpse is somewhere outside, like Yoshisugu-kun. I'd gained a habit of expecting the worst.
安永君は
What about Yasunaga-kun? The same.
メイコのところへ行こう。
Let's check on Meiko. Today's mist was denser than usual. Just extending my arm was enough to make my hand hazy and indistinct. I kept on walking, knife in my right hand, and Chami's hand in my left. The settlement was way too quiet. We headed for the village plaza. I almost tripped a few times on the filled paths, but Chami kept me on my feet with just a few warnings. I could keep going as long as she was with me. We arrived at the plaza. There was no one there. Basically, there was no need to use the dining hall as the go-to gathering spot anymore. We passed Rikako Uematsu's house. It didn't look unlocked, but I couldn't hear any indications of movement from inside. Was she asleep? Or did something happen to her? Whatever the case, I had no choice but to ignore
ここだ
her.
っけ
It was right here, right? No, it was here, right? Yeah. Meiko's place was open? Huh? Thankfully, all I found inside was just a messy futon. It was the same as Haru-chan's room. But now that it happened, with 3 people, it was safe to assume something wasn't right.
チミ悪いけどこれ返す。
Jamie, sorry, but you can have this back. Huh? I gave her the knife and grabbed a stick lying against the house.
どういうこと？
What's wrong?
実際に使える武器がいるから。それよりどこを目指そう。
I need a weapon I can actually use. That aside, where do we go next? A weapon you can use and you go for a stick? That doesn't make sense to me. Because knives are pretty easy to grasp on how to use them. So who knows why you went for a stick?
やっぱりお堂かな。
The hall, right? As it turned out, that was exactly where the other inhabitants were. With the exception of one anyway.
遅かったね。いや、私らが早すぎたか。
You're late, or maybe we're early. Haru Makishima. She was in her usual agitated state. Tai Yamawaki. She was silently chanting something to herself. Meiko Haru-chan had her hands on her shoulders, but she still looked anxious. Finally,
知恵ね。
good morning, Chiene.
それに、久石春明さん。
And Haruaki Fusaishi-san. Yasunaga Oribe, his face was grim. Those were all the people here, meaning that.
ついに野里さんか。
So they finally got Nosato-san, huh? The simple process of elimination was enough to know who was gone. Anyway, it was time for the first battle.
メイコおいで。
Meiko, come here. Huh? She tried to walk to us. No. No. But Haru Makishima stopped her. It was time. I raised my stick and... Huh?
本性を表しましたが、久石さん。
So you finally reveal your true colors. Fusaishi-san. Yasunaga Oribe stood in my way. He had a menacing looking grass sickle in his right hand. He readied it for a swing at
あな
me.
たが全ての不幸の根源だ。最後だと思って今朝実力に訴えるのは予想してましたよ。
Are we finally gonna get our Mexican standoff that I wanted? Let's see, you're the cause of all the misery here. It's the end, so I knew it would come down to pure strength.
嘘。何？
No way, huh? What?
ジェーンは騙されてたんだ。この人が汚れの元凶だよ。この人を宴に混ぜないのは失敗
You
だ
were tricked. You were tricked. He's the one who caused all this. Not letting him join the feast was a mistake.
この人をくくってれば母さんも義継もみんな死ななくてよかった。
If we'd hanged him, Mom, Yoshisugu, and everyone else would still be alive. Would they? Because Chiemi said something the previous night that suggested that she looped like our protagonist did. Whether she does or doesn't, I don't know, but that's what the suggestion came up as.
待って。そんな。
Wait, that's...
今日はこの人をくくるんだ。
We'll hang him today, that will end it. We'll hang him today, that will end everything.
安永くん、よくないな。誰も知らないストーリーを軸に大事な話を進めたら。
Yasunaga-kun, you shouldn't try to advance the situation based on a story no one knows.
あなたもでしょ。どうして急に殴りかかろうとしたの？
What about you? Why did you try to attack?
おう、そりゃそうだ。ちなみに行動理由は人質奪還ね。
Oh, good point. I'll tell you, I want to take back the hostage.
それは
But that's...
まあその前にここで混乱の極みを味わっているちえみちゃんにフォローをしておく許可をくれよ。
Well, before that, let me just help Chiemi-chan understand. Look how confused she is. Confused she is. Huh? What? They didn't say another word. Chiemi and Meiko were the only ones who seemed confused at all. Basically, the others had prepared for
誰
this.
が狼かはさておいて、まず大事なことは2つ。
Ignoring who's a wolf here, there's two important things you gotta keep in mind.
まず、昨日僕はメイコに対してこの集落を脱出することを持ちかけた。それは昨日皆に聞かれたと考えるべき。
First, yesterday I told Meiko that I wanted to escape the settlement with her. It's best to assume everyone heard that.
村からの脱走は禁忌。それは知ってる。問題は村からの脱走をみすみす見逃す側も汚れの対象になるかどうかって点。
Escaping the village is taboo, I know that. The question is whether letting someone escape makes you a target of the corruption. And that is a good question. Something that we need to know right away, which is why letting them escape is important.
だから早朝にメイコの身柄を押さえた。これはまあ話としてわかる。
That was why you secured Meiko first thing in the morning, and I can totally understand
もう
that.
一つ。昨日、ちえみと安永くんは対立関係になった。
The
そのまま
other
ならば、今日の宴では両者の一騎打ちだ。
The other thing is that Chiemi, he and Yasunaga-kun ended up on opposing sides yesterday. Owing to that, today's feast would be a one-on-one between them.
基本的には、はるちゃんの票をほぼ確定票で抑えている安永くんが有利だろう。
Since Haru-chan would almost always take Yasunaga-kun's side, he'd have an advantage.
しかし、タエさんとメイコという不動票がある以上、確定じゃない。
But with Tai-san and Meiko as swing votes, his victory wasn't guaranteed.
だから、ちえみと和解して、唯一の部外者である僕を狙うのが、一番安全確実だと踏んだんだよね。
That's why you decide that reconciling with Chiemi and going after the only outsider here was the safest way, right? You're wrong. You're saying that, and yet you've got that face, huh? I say he's got you pegged.
違わない。だから僕を黙らせるために、メイコを人質に取っている。
I'm not. That's why you took Mako as a hostage. You want me silenced.
あなたがこの子を人質にとって僕らにひどい要求をすると思ったから。
No, I just thought you'd take her as a hostage and ask us to do horrible things. Quite the thinking here. But then again, he probably hit his limit, so he's not thinking rationally anymore.
僕にそんなことをして何の得がある？ぶっちゃけ僕は宴には関わってない。君だって納得してたはずだ。
What would I gain from that? I mean, I'm not part of the feast. You agreed to that yourself, didn't you?
それが間違いだったんですよ。じゃあこの場の他の誰が元凶だって言うんですか？
That was a mistake if it's not you. And who else could be the cause of everything here? Could be you, Yasunaga, cause the culprit a lot of times in these things makes these kinds of arguments to try and throw things off. But then again, a lot of what's going on is supernatural. So we don't know for sure.
僕もハルちゃんも家族を失った。サイバーだってタクミさんを失った。
Haru-chan and I lost family.
誰かを失ってる。
No, Haru-chan and I lost family. Taiba lost Takumi-san. We all lost people important to us.
じゃあ失ってないのは
And who didn't lose anything? Only you. Only you, Haruaki Fusaishi-san. Well, reasonable, but he's giving into irrationality here all the same. Oh. So that was his story, huh? Sorry, Yasunaga-kun. But you're a bad storyteller. Yeah, alright.
君は嘘とか無茶を言うときに雄弁になる癖があるみたいだね。
You seem to have a habit of putting up a wall of well-spoken words when lying or putting on an act.
大概にしてください。
Please stop messing around.
さすがに今はおふざけは自重してるよ、安永くん。君は人を感情で動かそうとしすぎている。
Oh, but I'm not, Yasunaga-kun. You're trying way too hard to manipulate people using their
そ
emotions.
して、ちえみのことも舐めている。君の言動のおかしなところを感情論で押し切れると思っている。
You also underestimate Chiemi by thinking you can just use that as a smokescreen for the holes in your story.
確かに、すべての悪事を僕のせいにすれば、感情的には収まりがつくだろう。
Well, from an emotional standpoint, blaming me for everything is definitely the easiest way.
しかし一方で、君は自分のキャラを大事にしなさすぎだ。冷静沈着。年上の暴論にも理屈でこうするキャラをね。
But on the other hand, you're selling yourself short. You're calm, cool, collected, the type of guy who argues against adult absurdity with facts and logic.
手な分析やめてください。
Please stop this pointless analysis. It is important, Yasunaga.
まあ、それは10年だか何年だか、君を見てきた村の方々が決めることだ。僕や君が決めるものじゃない。
Well, that's something for the villagers to decide, not me. They're the ones who watched you for years.
もちろん君だって、心境の変化があってもおかしくないほど、辛い体験をしたっていうのはわかる。
Of course, I understand you went through something difficult enough to change you.
じゃあ、聞いてみようよ。
Then let me ask you this.
君が完全に理性を失って、僕というよそ者に怒りを向けているのか。
Are you blaming everything on the outsider because you've lost your own emotions? Well, I would say yes. But let's see what he has to say in response to this, because it's a good question.
あるいはとても冷静に、僕をくくって今日の宴を空振りさせ、自分の有利にことを運ぼうとしてるのか。
Or are you actually acting rationally to make sure you hang me and waste today's feast so you can tip the scales in your favor?
つまり昼の死刑を回避して得をする陣営の人間なのか。
As in, are you someone who'd benefit from wasting today's lynching?
どっちだと思う？チエミ。
What do you think, Jamie? She gasped and looked at Yasunaga Oribe. There was suspicion in her eyes, not trust.
言えばよかったんだ。僕のことを狼だと。
You could have just said that I was a wolf.
それでも言わなかった。あくまで元凶と言い続けた。自分が狼だと知っているから。
Yet you didn't. You just said I'm the cause of all this because you're a wolf yourself. That's a reasonable explanation.
嘘をつくのが苦手なんだろう。かといって勝負どころじゃ、つかなきゃならない嘘はつかなきゃダメなんだよ。
You hate lying, don't you? You know when the chips are down, you have to commit to the lie.
言えねえ。こんな奴のことを信じるの？
Chiene, you're gonna believe him? Again, you're acting suspicious here, Yasunaga.
そうやって理屈に対して感情論しか準備してないのは君の甘いところだ。君は最後まで理屈で戦うべきだった。
Making an emotional pill in the face of cold logic is a bad move here. You need to fight logic with logic until the end.
さい。あんたに何がわかる？ヘラヘラしてるだけで何もしなかった。できなかったくせに。
Shut up. What do you know? You just wasted time not doing anything because you couldn't. You had a point there. I did feel like shit about that. I should have joined the feast from the get-go. If I had, I wouldn't have wasted time on pointless arguments and autopsies. However,
僕はな、
you know,
自分で考える頭を持ってたくせに早々に迷信におもねって弟と母親を見殺しにした君に対して。
right here there's a guy who can think for himself, but I just played along with some dumb superstition letting both his brother and mother die.
一人の大人として率直に怒ってるんだぜ、安永くん。
As an adult, I'm really mad at him, Yasunaga-kun. Once I said that, Yasunaga Oribe hung his head and fell silent. 10 seconds of silence were enough for everyone to realize he'd lost the argument. However, the expression on his face was abnormally calm.
確かに僕は狼ですが。
True, I really am a wolf. He spoke as if it wasn't a big
あな
deal.
たはいくつか勘違いをしてる。
But you are misunderstanding a few things. But that just made it seem even more abnormal.
僕らは勝ってるんですよ。
We've already won. He tossed away the grass sickle. His voice wasn't nearly as passionate as before, it was cold and rational. He demonstrated confidence rooted in sound logic. But I couldn't understand what he meant.
もう一人の狼、出てきてください。
Other wolf, please reveal yourself. Why are you so confident right now? Because if there's two wolves, there's at least two other people. 2 or 3, I'd say, that they have to get to before they win. So they have to go after somebody. What was the point of that?
いいね、ヤスくん。
Are you sure, Yasukun?
ええ、もういいです。
Yes, that's enough.
あたしがもう一人の狼よ。
I'm the other wolf. I couldn't make sense of this. He had decided to graciously concede by selling out his partner now that he'd been cornered. No, he said he'd already won. And that is kind of telling. So I wonder what's gonna happen here. Even if there were 2 wolves, there were 4 of us. They'd lose in votes. My answer came from a completely unexpected direction.
兄ちゃん
Mi-chan,
兄ちゃんやっぱりタイバーと兄ちゃんが狼様だったんだね
Mi-chan, you and Taiba really are the wolves? A shout of pure, unadulterated joy. This is definitely a weird thing happening. Maybe we'll learn about the other role. I know that I stated its name before, but we didn't get an explanation of that other role. Haru Makishima became the least comprehensible of anyone present. She ran to Yasunaga Oribe and hugged him. He hesitated for a moment, but reciprocated. Mako, still as clueless as ever, slowly walked over to us.
兄ちゃん
Oni-chan,
お姉ちゃんに隠れときな。
I'm sorry, hide behind Chiemi.
荒木さんこれって一体
Haruaki-san, what is this?
わからん。
I don't know. I really didn't. But I'd had a feeling that something wasn't quite right for a while now, and I suspected it to be made clear now. I was certain of it, and it left me feeling uneasy.
OK。主導権は君に移った。説明を聞かせてもらえるかな。
Okay, you have the initiative here. Can you explain?
タエバーお願い
Taiba, you do it.
もうずっとヤス君には頼りっぱなしだったからね。
Fine, fine. I've been relying on you too much all this time. So she wasn't even denying it.
ちーちゃん、メイコちゃん、
Chi-chan, Mako-chan. Not me.
これは話しちゃおらんかったけどね。
This is something I never told ya.
昔、ずーっと昔に、私が娘だった頃に、神強しの門が山祭りで酔って言うたのよ。
A long, long time ago when I was still a girl, Kami Fujiyoshi's people got drunk.
読み意味の宴についての本当のお話をね。
And revealed the truth behind the feast of the Yomi Purge. The truth. Tai Yamawaki told us a story that was very similar to the legend they told in the strange village. Well, it was less like it was similar, and more like I was looking at it from the opposite angle. The part about Great Lord Shinai sending the 5 guardians to help people was the same. 4 of them teamed up with the humans to murder wolves. However, in the real story, the good and bad sides were completely reversed. Apparently, the people and the 4 guardians joined Yomi on the very first feast of the Yomi Purge. Basically, all of them were Yomibito. They all ganged up on, overpowered, and expulsed the wolves who tried to resist until the very end. That meant this land had belonged to the Yomibito for a long, long time. The wolves are summoned here by none other than Shinai Sama himself. Some people of Yasumizu were given the blessing of the wolves and had to free Yasumizu from its Yomibito. Basically, it was a holy war for them. And that was the truth behind the Feast of the Yomi Purge. Tai Yamawaki continued her explanation.
神藤吉の方々が私たちをバカにしてから 考えたもんじゃと思ったのよね。
At first, we thought the people of Kami Fujiyoshi just made it up to make fun of
だ
us.
けど、そうじゃない。本当じゃと、親鸞様は、加護をくださるとともに、そう言われなさった。
But we found out it was true when we became blessed by Shinai-sama himself. Or are you just telling a story to buy our sympathy, huh? Because you three are responsible for a lot of things this loop.
じゃからね、ちーちゃん。
So you see, Chi-chan,
私らは、みんな、亡きにしてやらねばならんかったのよ。
that's why we had to slay
辛
everyone.
かったけどもね。
It hurt a lot, though.
匠も、苦しそうにしとったけれど。
Takumi suffered greatly, too.
でも、こうしてやらねば、読み人は救われんと。
But we had to do it.
様は、親鸞様は言われるのよ。
But we had to do it to save the Yomabito. That's what Shinai-sama said. Really? You're using that to justify your actions? Tai Yamawaki was crying. Alright. So she was now a confirmed culprit who believed the murderers to be salvation. There were just two more points I didn't understand. The corruption and the eerie message. Most things made sense if you switched Shinai-sama's enemies and allies. The idea that people wearing those outfits could be the good guys was kind of weird, but well, that was the culture here. Or maybe only the Yomabito, me too, saw them as evil. Maybe that was the story here. Hey Justice, how are you doing? Did you check out today's question of the day? It's an interesting one. Let's see, the problem here was that
こんなの、
I
こんな話、知らない。
I didn't know that. Jamie didn't know this.
僕は加護を受けた時に知った。
I only found out when I was blessed. Really? Are you playing into this too, Yasunaga? So even Yasunaga didn't know about it. I remembered some of his words.
学校の先生の受け売りですけど、思想を与えればいいんじゃないですか？
Oh, nice. Those do sound kind of interesting. I answered Kepler 22b just because it would be an interesting planet to visit since it's supposedly so close to our Earth, not distance-wise, but everything about it is supposedly close enough that we could actually migrate there and live, even though we don't know about what anything is really like on that planet. But your answers are kind of interesting too, because One Piece World is definitely pretty interesting with its lore and that. Let's see. This is just something I heard from a teacher at school, but you could do it by giving them something to fight for, couldn't you?
要は、自分たちのしていることが正しいと思えればいいんじゃないかって。
Basically, you need to make them think they're doing the right thing. You really hated lies, didn't he? He basically told me the truth of things. This feast actually had a system that made zealous murderers of people. Whatever, enough about Yasunaga
な
Oribe.
ぜハルちゃんは知ってた？
Then why did Haru-chan know? That's a good question here. And that's why I was wondering if we'd find out about the role that I had named previously in another stream, but we don't have an explanation of her role. And we know that there were only 2 wolves. So it can be safe to assume, like, what the gist of her role is and that, but we don't have a name for it. Though we can kind of guess that too, based on the fact we know what the other roles are and what they do. She was glad when she realized Yasunaga Oribe was a wolf. Basically, she already knew the real story, that the wolves were the good guys. Why? Who told her?
狼様が私に教えてくれた。
The Okami-sama told me.
おじいちゃんが死んだ日に私の夢に出てそう教えてくれたんだ。
They showed up in my dreams on the day Oji-chan died and told me about it. Nonsense. Insanity. Did she seriously decide to throw her life away over a dream? But on the day Oji-chan died, he died the night before Haru-chan tried to run away from the settlement. She believed the dream. She started to despair over being surrounded by Yomabito and planned to escape. That made sense.
タイバーはきっと正しい言い伝えを知ってると思った。タイバーが知らないはずないって。
But I did think that Taiba-san would know the real story. There was no way she couldn't.
なのに言い出さないから、もしかしたらって思ってたし。
But she didn't say it, so I thought that maybe she was a wolf.
兄ちゃんは二人で話したとき、もしかしたらって思って。
And I began to think the same thing about Ni-chan when we talked. It all clicked. She believed. She believed the sudden revelation, despite a lack of proof, that the man she liked was in the minority that had justice on their side. And right now she said she would betray the humans and join the wolves. She believed Yasunaga Oribe was right with all her heart, and so the wolf Yasunaga Oribe had 3 votes for the feast. I see. So that's why they won.
知恵姉とメイコが僕に投票しても、僕を殺すことはできない。
I can't be killed even if Chiene and Mako both vote for me.
ルールを曲げて不採さんを宴に呼んでも3票だ。決選投票をしても1人に選ぶことはできない。
Even if you bend the rules and count Fusaishi-san's vote, it'd still be just 3. You couldn't choose one even if we did a final
か
vote.
くして2人とも欠けることなく狼勝ちです。
And now, without either wolf dying, we win.
楽勝でしたね。
It was easy. I saw it clearly now. I understood.
さん、
Arwaki-san,
それって
is he...
そうだね。安永くんの言う通りだ。
Yeah, Yasunaga-kun is right.
ちえみたちの、いや、僕たちの負けだ。
You know we lose. Everyone had different reactions to my words. Jamie backed away and gasped. Tai Yamawaki closed her eyes and sighed. Mako didn't seem to understand anything. Yasunaga Oribe didn't react at all. Haru Makishima was smiling. Oh man. All I really had left was struggling like the filthy, annoying adult I
はる
was.
ちゃん、
Haru-chan.
兄ちゃん、この不採師さんはどうなる？
What? Oh, Ni-chan, what will happen to Fasaishi-san?
このまま何も関わらないのならば
I'll ignore him if
無
he
視する。
I'll ignore him if he doesn't interfere.
そう。
I see. Was that relief just now? Sorry, but I couldn't enjoy my sudden jump in popularity.
なきにせいでもええのかね。
We don't have to slay him.
必要なら、新内様がどうにかするさ。
Shinai-sama will do something if need be. That dispassionate tone didn't do much to convince me he truly believed this ridiculous superstition.
黙ってはいないのでしょあなたは。
But you won't ignore this, will you?
さあね。正直、そっちが善玉なら、読み人側に手を貸すのも微妙って気はしてきたし。
Who knows? Honestly, if you're the good guys, I don't know if I should help the Yomibito side.
荒木さん
Haruaki-san,
思ったより薄情なんですね。
you're crueler than I
都
thought.
会人の合理性とでも思ってくれれば
We city folk value a well-reasoned argument.
だ。とは言いませんよ。正しい判断です。とても正しい。
I want to say I misjudged you. It's the right decision, very right, in fact. Big
ち
words.
ょっと。そんなのないでしょあなたあれだけ、知恵姉のことが好きとか言っておいて、見捨てるの
Hey, what the hell? You said you liked Chiemune, didn't you? And now you're gonna abandon her? Well, she did try to vote to kill him off. Good point. Well, yeah, it was pretty damn cold-blooded.
Hmm. 痛い
Hmm.
ところを突かれるばかりでも不愉快だから、反論しちゃおうかな。
I'm not too fond of being hit where it hurts, so I guess I'll respond.
はるちゃんよ。
Haru-chan?
何を
What?
わかってると思うけど、君は死ぬぜ。
You know you're gonna die, right?
それで、いいんだよな。
You're okay with that? Huh? This is pretty damn bad, honestly. Apparently, this Great Lord Shinai is a huge scumbag. He should have told her that much.
君に聖典を教えたところで、君が人側であることに変わりはない。
Even if you've been told the real story, you're still a human.
君は狼になったわけではないだろう。匠さんや野里さんを殺したわけではないだろう。
You haven't become a wolf, have you? You didn't kill Takumi-san or Nasato-san, right? All good questions here. We might find out what her role is. Though again, like I said before, we probably know everything about her role. The name I kind of revealed earlier on. And what she's doing now probably answers what its responsibilities are, because we know what the other roles are.
殺してないけど。
I didn't.
なぜだか知らないが、君は聖典を知ってしまっただけのただの人だ。
I don't know why, but you're just a human who knows the real story.
だから人が負けるということは、君も死ぬということだ。
That's why the human's defeat will mean your death.
二人きりの時の話で、安永くんが狼である可能性に思い当たったと言っていたね。
You said you thought Yasunaga-kun might have been a wolf when you talked together, right?
安永くんがミスでそんなことをするとは思えないから、きっと君の挙動不審から、君がそういう役回りだと感づいて。
I don't think he would ever let anything like that slip, so he probably realized your role from the way you were acting.
それで、自分の正体を確定させないままに誘導して、君が誘いに乗るかどうかを試したんじゃないかと思うわけだけど。
He was probably trying to lead you by showing hints, but not revealing his identity in order to test whether you'd join him.
狼は、そういう役回りの人がいることを知っていた、ということじゃないのかな。
The wolves probably knew there was a human who had that role.
それが、どうした
What of it? You actually said that? This is the part where he was supposed to start lying. By not denying that, you basically admitted that you were an absolute scumbag who used Haru-chan knowing you'd have to kill her. He was that bad at lying? Then how did he survive so long? Wait. Something was very wrong. I'd seriously misunderstood something here. And soon enough my hunch was proven right.
ほんと
Seriously.
それが
What
何
of
だ
it?
ってのかしらね。
What of it? Haru-chan. Haru Makishima's voice was brimming with joy. A carefree smile, laced with seductive intoxication.
読み人はくくられなきゃならない。
Yamabito need to be hung.
汚れた醜いおぞましい私たちには
We're corrupt, filthy, and
神
disgusting.
様の渦と爪だけが救いなの。
We can only be saved by the wolves' whirls and claws.
誰だってわかるわ。
Everyone knows that.
だから兄ちゃんは香織さんを手にかけたんだもんね。
That's why you finished off Kaori-san, right?
お母さんを幸せにするために。
You wanted to make your mother happy.
あ
Yeah,
その通り。
exactly. Ehehe.
兄ちゃん春も幸せにして。
Ni-chan, make me happy too. Haru Makishima coquettishly leaned on him. Yasunaga Oribe brought her closer without even a flicker of emotion crossing his face. Tai Yamawaki watched them with a broad smile. What? What the hell? What were these people?
それで知恵ねどうする
So, Chiene, what will you do?
おとなしくするなら救ってあげる
If you listen to me, I'll save you. I underestimated it. I underestimated the madness of Yasumizu. And I realized too late that the Feast of the Omi Purge wasn't just a system where zealous murderers killed each other. There was something here that completely shattered the people on a fundamental level. It was like a gear of madness. Those who knew the real story found salvation in death. That insane tale instantly convinced people that it was right to agree and to find peace in that. And I was actually surrounded by those very people. Understanding that made me remember that she was from here too. Jamie was trying to take a step forward. I should have realized this earlier. She, who was afraid of God, was just like them, who accepted their salvation. Both brands of madness probably had roots in the exact same thing, so she was just as susceptible to madness as they were. However, it wasn't too late for her. Yasunaga Oribe's expression stayed the same. But right before I looked away from him, I saw a slight change. It was bitterness, irritation, something out of place on a victor's face that made me realize that his plan for this scene wasn't lost to madness, that I had no choice but to take advantage of the opportunity. I grabbed Chiemi's hand. I pulled with so much force that she fell on her backside, but I didn't care. I dashed past her and swung my weapon at Yasunaga Oribe. I hit Haru Makishima once, Tai Yamawaki twice, and Yasunaga Oribe 5 or 6 times. Then I ran to Amy and Mako, who were completely dumbfounded and fled the hall. There was no time to waste. I had to hurry up and escape. If I didn't, I'd waste the one chance he'd given me.
黒木さん何なの一体
Haruaki-san, What are you doing? What's going on?
ちえみ、
Hey, Chiemi. What?
あの安永くんってのは本当に頭が良くてやがるな。
Yasunaga-kun really has a good head on his shoulder, doesn't he?
何のこと？
What are you talking about? My hand hurts, I'll fall. You should be carrying her, not pulling her. I was probably irritated, not just because of hunger. It was because of the epiphany I'd had, and because it had taken me so long to reach it. Yasunaga Oribe had a different motive.
芹沢千恵美に惚れている君は彼女だけは手にかけたくなかった。
You have a crush on Chiemi Serizawa, so you didn't want to hurt her if no one else.
そして残っていた合理的思考でわずかでも彼女を救う可能性があるのは脱出しかないと判断した。
So you used what little reason you still had to conclude that the only way to save her was through escape.
しかし大っぴらに脱出を認めれば他の全員に汚れが及ぶがゆえに。
But letting someone escape would be subjecting everyone else to the corruption.
僕が全員を叩きのめして無理やり連れて行ったという形を取らざるを得なかったということなのだろう。くそ。
So you had to have me beat up everyone and take her by force to avoid that shit. He didn't intend to let me run away. He wouldn't have thrown away the sickle. He was basically signaling for me to understand and finally attack him. In the end, he was far more clever than me. I never stopped dancing to his tune. Regardless of, no, exactly because of that, I had to help these two escape no matter what.
なんせ大人だからな。
After all, I'm an adult. By the way, using an adult without relying on one yourself was a very adult thing to do, Yasunaga Oribe. Good luck with the rest. We crossed the filled paths, went past the stone graves, and over the boundary. Descending the cliff took a lot of patience. It didn't seem like they were chasing us, so we could go down carefully. Jamie's expression was dead. She'd been hit hard by a sudden revelation. The game board had been flipped on her. She'd lost, and now she had to suddenly say goodbye to her old friends. It was hard to just laugh that off. Should I have told her about Yasunaga-kun's intentions? I did consider it, but couldn't bring myself to. He chose to save her by sacrificing their relationship. If she knew, she'd probably want to go back to the settlement. Or maybe I just didn't want to say it because of my pride as a man. That was fine by me. Me too, being able to shrug off such unfairness was one of the blessings of adulthood. So I consoled Chiemi, shouted to Mako to be more careful, and generally talked as much as I could. The mist grew even denser.
ねえ、チン。
Hey, Chiemi.
もう村の外って言ってよくない？
I think we're already outside the village. Maybe.
やったぞ。ほら、何事もなく抜けられた。
We did it. And look, nothing happened. We did it?
そうそう。さあ、川を下って町に戻ろう。
Yep, now let's cross the river and return to town.
川、どっち？
Where's the river? I couldn't see anything. I hadn't just lost my bearings, it was worse than that. I couldn't even see Chiemi or Mako's faces, and I was actually holding their hands. We were already at the bottom of the cliff, walking on the stones below. We heard water, so it was clear we were close to the river. But I didn't know if we could keep going right now.
ちょっと休もうか。
Let's rest. We can't.
チエミ。
Chiemi. I thought she was gonna freak out again, but...
違うの。
No, that's not it. She stopped me.
聞こえないかな。水音以外に何か。
Don't you hear it? Ignore the water. Confused, I strained my ears.
何か聞こえる？
What am I supposed to hear? Wolf, wolf. They're coming after us. They were acting strange. I strained my ears again. Was it above us? I could hear the faint sound of rustling leaves from the top of the cliff. We gotta run.
もう疲れた。
I'm tired. Well, we're gonna carry you, Mako, or at least that's what should happen.
春秋さん、メイコちゃんを。
Araki-san, take Mako-chan. The intensity in Chamie's voice made he take the situation seriously. What if the sound was just the wind, though? Was she jumping at shadows? But I would have been lying if I said I wasn't worried. After all, a question remained unanswered, and according to the legend, this was their HQ. Wait, they were the good guys, right? Still, this wasn't a normal place. I had to get out of here ASAP. After a while, I was forced to recognize the anomaly. We couldn't reach the river. I ran along the riverbed. It should have been small, just a few meters wide. But even after 10 minutes of running, there was no sight of the river. We couldn't get anywhere. It was just like ring wanderung. Wait, so they're being forced to go in circles? Is that what is going on? A phenomenon where people wandering snowy peaks lose their sense of direction and end up walking in circles. Yep. However, even if my sight was limited, how could anyone get lost on such a small riverbed? I could hear the stream right next to me. This felt so wrong. I was good as blind. All I could trust were my ears, but that just made me realize how useless that was to rely on. I trusted my sense of direction less with every passing second. So, the sounds of parting grass in the distance, the sound of claws stepping on the rocks. I felt like they were getting closer. I couldn't be certain. Eventually, we slowed down. The others didn't say anything, but they were clearly exhausted. We hadn't eaten for days, not to mention the dense mist made our clothes all uncomfortably damp and cold. We walked along the riverbed without uttering a single word. The sound of water wasn't getting closer, but something else sure was. Something. Things I didn't know scared me. The chill and the fear strangled me like a garrote. As I carried Mako, passed out from exhaustion on my back. How long has it been like this? Suddenly the hand I was dragging became heavier. Jamie had stopped. Araki-san. She called my name through the mist.
何かな?
What? I tried to sound lighthearted, but I wasn't confident I pulled it off.
ダメだ。
We're done for. Her voice suggested the image of a grim smile.
何を言ってんだ?
What are you saying? Unlike before, I couldn't manage the defiant tone I'd used whenever she said something stupid. It's true that something unnatural was happening and that there was no simple explanation. And Jamie was wearing down both physically and emotionally.
ちょっと休もう。それで進めば、すぐ抜けられる。大丈夫だ。
Let's rest a bit. We'll get through this if we just go a bit further. Don't worry.
無理だよ。
No, it's impossible.
して。
Why?
ね、 私がいたら、きっと、川は越えられないんだ。
I think you can't get past this river as long as I'm with you. What? That was like...
言ってたじゃん。
You heard what they
こ
said.
は私たちの方だって。
We're the
だか
Yomobito.
ら、
So
だから彼岸を渡れないとでも言うつもりか。
you're not worthy of crossing or something? I mean,
だって私、小さい頃からずっと休みずのものを食べてきた。
I've been eating Yasumizu's food since I was a little girl.
私
And
は、
I...
私は、汚れてるから。
I'm corrupted.
ちえみ、
Jamie. look at me. I turned around and pulled her by the arm. I looked at her face from point blank range. It was covered in brown and yellow blisters. Before I could even be surprised or disgusted, I just kissed her. The sugary taste of blood, pus, and rust filled my mouth and spread throughout my throat. I didn't care. Then, to discard all unnecessary emotions, I hugged her as hard as I could. My breathing and thoughts ceased. I kept it up until the pain began to fade, then disappeared completely. Eventually, our lips were separated again. She prioritized words over breaths.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。本当。ごめん。
I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Even so, I hugged her tight. I couldn't lose to something so ridiculous. She weakly hugged me back, but she couldn't keep it up for long.
行こう。
Let's go. I'm telling you the...
行こう。
Let's go. The presence in the distance was definitely closing in. We walked. I felt like I'd been walking for several hours now. Our pursuers were close now, but I had no intention of rushing. Jamie was slowly but surely getting weaker by the second. Her speed slackened with each step, and the weight on my arm was becoming heavier. I could hear her cough and vomit something out. She apologized every time she did, and I basically replied, "It's alright," using different words every time. We walked. Jamie's feet began to make wet sounds with every step. We walked. Maybe we'd actually been here for only a few minutes. We walked. Jamie kept apologizing. Maybe we haven't even moved a single meter. We walked. Maybe none of this was real. Then, maybe nothing that happened here would be weird. Eventually, Jamie called out to me with a hoarse voice. Haruaki-san. The fact that she said something different had sparked a moment of baseless hope, and so, thank you. The gratitude was followed by another wet sound. I had fun. With those final words, her weight vanished. It was strange. After all, I was still holding her hand. Or rather, only her hand. With a splash, her bodily fluids spread around while her limbs and entrails just collapsed. Jamie was gone, leaving behind only a rotting hand. Perhaps her remains were piling up in the mist ahead. I had a strange certainty I couldn't touch it ever again. Was this what they called a Yomobito? I couldn't accept this no matter what.
私の何でもいいからどこか一部だけでも
I don't care what. Take a part of me outside. I put the hand in my jacket pocket. I took Mako, still sleeping, and shifted my grip to make carrying her easier. I continued walking for too long. Mako woke up. She was shocked that Chiemi was gone and cried for a bit, but then said she wanted to walk by herself, so I put her down on the ground. The very next moment, she was dragged into the mist. It was clearly a malicious force that did that. To me, it looked like a furry arm. A scream resounded. It was an inhuman, animalistic scream. After hesitating for a moment, I turned to run and caught a glimpse of something beastly within the mist Mako had disappeared into. I ran. And ran. Suddenly, I felt myself step into something wet. I had arrived at the river. It was meaningless. I had lost everything. And in the end, only I survived.
私の何でもいいから見たこと一部だけでも
I don't care what, take a part of me outside. Was there any meaning in fulfilling that promise? No. The meaning was for me to find. That was why I had to survive and find a forest. Yeah, I still had that hope back then. What the? Three? A pair of three there. That's weird. They finally broke through the mist and showed themselves. Oh, of course. This really was hell, wasn't it? This wasn't the human realm or Nirvana. It was a river of hell, so of course both sides of it were gonna be hell. There was no splash when we threw Takumi-san's body in, was there? The moment we went into the mist and down the cliff, our bodies vanished from the world and reached a place from which there was no return. And I finally had no choice but to accept it. As someone who had taken in the flesh and blood of a young Obito, Chiemi, I couldn't escape either. That was why I screamed stupidly, only managing to run a few steps before their sinister claws tore me apart. Damn it. Where had I gone wrong? Descending into Saranaga? Not believing Chiemi when she told me we couldn't escape? No, it went back even earlier than that. I already knew the answer. Ugh, shit. I really wish I'd been part of Yasumizu and participated in the Feast of the Omi Purge. Maybe I could have gotten a different ending than this. That was the last thought that went through my mind before all faded away. Alright. And there's the first ending. I'll let the credits go through and then see what goes on, but at this point I just feel like saving and calling it a day, since I reached the end, at least not the true ending. But that was quite good. Got a bit creepy and was mysterious right up to the end, though we still don't have any explanations of things. We just have the like who of the wolves and also the what to go through. But yeah, since this is just the first ending, I'm gonna continue on. Not today, but at another time. Alright. Worlds and Claws, huh? Kind of an interesting name. Obtained Key 4. Sink into Nirvana. You can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number on the scenario chart. Ending 1. Watch the hint corner. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do the hint just to do some more time.
よう大将、まずはお疲れさんだな。
Hey Chief, congratulations are in order.
最初のメインルート、読みはこれで終了だ。達成感とラブラブな空気に存分に浸るがいいぜ。
You've now cleared Yomi, the first main route. Embrace that sense of accomplishment and lovey-dovey atmosphere.
無理かよ。せっかくテンション上げてやったのによ。まあ無理もねえか。とんでもねえ鬱な結末だったもんな。
The thing floating? That's just the sheep. That's our, like, little helper thing. Let's see. No, you're not in the mood for any of that? Well, makes sense. Wasn't exactly a very happy ending.
気合い入れてくれ。より良い結末をお望みなら力になるぜ。
But keep your chin up. I'll help you find your way to a better ending.
今回のバッドじゃないエンド1。題して、知恵ねえと楽しい沢遊びについてだが。
This one wasn't a bad ending, but just ending one fun in the marshes with Chiene.
ぶっちゃけ正解だからな。アドバイスはね。
Since it wasn't a bad ending, I've got no advice for you.
よりマシな結末を探すなら、久石春明が言ってた通り、積極的に宴に加わる方法を探すことが大事だ。
If you want to find a better ending, then you need to find a way to proactively participate in the feast like Haruaki, Fusaishi said.
今回手に入ったキー4を握りしめ、適切な場所に向かうんだ。
And with Key 4, you now have the means to head down that path.
シナリオチャートを見ればわかるが、これで開く鍵は随分前にある。
You can tell from the scenario chart that the lock this opens is way back.
言っちまうと、1、起点の振り出しだ。
Just so you know, it's in one's starting point. Starting
そ
point.
こに最初に並んでた鍵付き選択肢がようやくこれで開く。
That was the
潜入が探索可能になるぜ。
That was the first lock choice you had, and now you can finally open it and head on to a new route, infiltration.
より混迷を極める事件に肉薄し、今回の後悔をもう味わわないよう全力を尽くしてやってくれよ、大将。
Take on an even more chaotic scenario and give it your all so you don't taste the same despair as this time.
つうわけで、今回はここまで。次も元気に死んでこい。
With that said, that's it for this time. Die another hearty death next time.
そういう夢だったってわけだ。
I guess it was just a dream, right?
うまくやれ。
Do better next time.
一匹。
One sheep, two sheep. Alright, like I said, I reached an ending today, and that was my intention, so I'm gonna save here and call it a day. Okay. Got it on auto, but we'll just do down here for the sake of it. Doesn't matter which one I choose next time, but I thank you all for coming. If you're watching this over on YouTube and you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and share this with anybody else that you think might like this. And if you'd like the chance to chill with me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon to hopefully be notified of when I'll be live again. As for when I'll be live again, I want to say tomorrow, probably morning. But I usually keep people up to date on that on the posts tab of my YouTube profile. And if you are watching this on Twitch, you all know what to do. And speaking of Twitch, let me try and find somebody to raid. Okay, let's see. So Not too sure if they're still on. See about down here. Okay. They're not on. About in here. Now then, so let's try and search up a Genshin stream so that you all have something to relax to with that scary ending there. Let's see. Looks like we've got a losing with low doing Genshin Impact, so we'll try and raid them out. You know the person that I want, so no point in doing that. Okay. Yeah, we are going to be rating a losing with Lao. They're pretty nice and chill from the time that I decided to check them out, so hopefully you enjoy being with them. And hope they get you relaxed. And give them my regards and tell them I'll be there when I can. With that out of the way, I thank you all again for coming. Bye.